All right, Shalom. It's your brother, Yarash Amar from the GMS Champaign, Illinois branch. For all things, I want to give all praises unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Red Millstone, who we learned this truth from, and salutations to all the Akim that's pushing this truth with all righteousness and sincerity. And I ain't going to take too long at all. It'll be a real quick lesson. But I just wanted to just get this out here in some history about the wickedness that these devils have done to the children of Israel, man. All right, that these nations, specifically Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, and the horrendous acts that he's done to our people. All right, during slavery. Now this lady who appears to be an Edomite woman. All right, she's gonna bring out some shit, man. So let me play some of it.
Which oppression was worse, the oppression of women or the oppression of African Americans or blacks?
They used to eat us, brother.
Wait, what? Eat?
African Americans were eaten. Do they not teach this? They were eaten,
Do you
turned
think
into
there was
furniture.
widespread cannibalism in the United States?
This was with a specific lady in New Orleans, and she featured, I know who you're talking about. Her
Wait, hold on. One example of cannibalism is not evidence of widespread.
They used to skin
They
it and
used to
make leather out of it. Like,
leather.
why is that even a question?
I think you think because you're only pointing to like one example.
You're like, it's not one example.
1837 on the Portuguese.
All right, and it's plenty examples. And that's the pride of an Edomite to even sit there and and to be able to question, all right, the audacity of some shit like that. I mean, they had the audacity to even speak as if that was something so light. All right, I was just bringing this up at camp earlier. All right, this scripture, how these devils speak on the oppression that they did to Jake, man. All right. Let me grab that real quick. This Psalms 73:8. It says they are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak lawfully. All right, so that word lawfully goes into pride. So they have a proud sense of self when it comes to what they've done to the other nations. All right, especially us. All right, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. These devil have a real proud spirit of to hell what y'all went through and dig yourself out the mud. All right.
These slave ship, the Aragante, the captain killed an enslaved man, cooked him, and made the other enslaved people eat him. And the crew ate the organs. In 1831, after Nat Turner's rebellion, they desecrated his body after his execution, and then some sources state that they boiled down his body to a medicinal substance for white people to consume as an act of final triumph. Vincent Woodward has a whole book about the incidents of this happening, the consumption of black bodies, not just literally, but physically, intimately. It's well documented. And within that book, there's another slave owner, a Kentucky man, who butchers and cooks an enslaved person in front of other enslaved people as a form of psychological terror. And then in 1888, the Mercury in Philadelphia releases an expose exposing white doctors who are tanning the skin of black people to make shoes and cigar boxes. One of the physicians was quoted as saying that black skin makes a specifically enduring leather.
All right, so this is the Wisdom of Solomon 12:4. It says, whom thou hatest for doing. All right, now originally this is talking about the Canaanites. All right, I want to get some context before I even bring it out. Now, originally this scripture is talking about the Canaanites that was originally in the land of Israel when we were leaving Egypt. All right, the Lord commanded us to slay them because they were doing wicked acts, serving a god named Molech. All right, which when you serve Molech, he requires human sacrifice, whether it be more than likely it was used as children. That's the easiest type of flesh to come upon as your own child. All right, so people were sacrificing their children to Molech. All right, and they were sacrificing slaves and whatnot to Molech as well. But Esau, Edom, all right, they took on those same gods. All right, Edom, Esau, Edom, they took those same guys and the same traditions of those guys is what you see today. That's why you see things like abortion, right? But hey, they still eat flesh, right? I believe it was a few years ago I did a lesson and it was going into how they were finding human DNA in the food supply in America. All right, so now back to the scripture. Solomon 12:4. Whom thou hatest for doing most odious works of witchcraft and wicked sacrifices, and also those merciless murderers of children and devourers of men's flesh, the feast of blood. All right, so this is nothing new, man. This is just how these devils get down.
There's also cases in Mississippi of them making belts and purses and things from black skin. They also used black babies as alligator bait. That's documented in multiple sources. They thought it was so hysterical they made postcards about it. Would use them as bait to hunt alligators or would just feed them to alligators. If you really want to go for a wild ride and you can stomach the truth, Thomas Thistlewood's diaries, called the Thomas Thistlewood Papers or the Thistlewood Papers, the slave owner himself kept a documented, detailed diary of all of the torture he inflicted on his slaves, including 3,800 cases plus of SA against black women, probably one of the most common crimes across the slave trade against black women. And he also invented what was called the Derby's dose, where he would flog a slave and then rub pickle juice or lime juice into their skin and then make another enslaved person defecate in their mouth. Typically, those kind of infractions would be eating a piece of sugar cane because they were hungry. And no, Miss Ma'am, you don't know who you're talking about. Madame Lalaurie did not eat her slaves. What she did do is chain them up with iron collars where she tortured, mutilated them, peeled their skin into strange shapes, and then murdered them. Just because you people are not educated enough to know what actually happened and you don't want to believe it because it makes you uncomfortable doesn't mean it didn't happen.
All right. Amos 1:11. Thus saith the Lord for the transgressions of Edom, and for I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. All right, so yeah, this devil, he's been putting hell on our people. All right, say for as long as this devil can, man. All right, every chance this devil could, all right, he took the chance to bring the sword to our people, man. Right, it's a spiritual hatred that these devils have for us, man. You got to know that.
Negro that documents the cannibalizing of black people, especially during slavery. It talks about how in white European culture, the white supremacist culture, that they've always had this thing about literally consuming black people, black flesh. During slavery, when they had the big rebellion with Nat Turner, he was cannibalized after they killed him. They ate him. During a lot of lynchings, they would cook and barbecue people, and they would actually eat the people that they would lynch. So this was something that was a part of the white supremacist culture, consuming us literally. I'm sure you heard of
Isaiah 32:5. The vile person shall no more called liberal, nor the churl said to be bountiful. So this Esau Edom's vile, man. All right, he's no more looked at as the angel of light because his history is being revealed. All right, and what type of nature of people they are, man. All right, it says, for the vile person will speak villainly, and his heart will work iniquity, to practice hypocrisy and to utter error against the Lord, to make empty the soul of the hungry, and will cause the drink of the thirsty to fail. The instruments also of the churl are evil. It says he devised wicked devices to destroy the poor. That's his whole MO, man, is to constantly oppress the poor. And with lying words, even with the needy speaketh right. All right. So this devil, hey, he's Satan, man. He's Satan, man. His history, it shows itself, man. It shows itself.
all the tales about slavery, or at least you think how they was whipped, how they was treated like cattle. I'm sure you've heard all that, but I bet you didn't know that slave owners also treated them like chicken, like beef. What's for dinner? They did that. The revolutionary Nat Turner was
up, his entrails and all. They even offered to feed them to the people of color. They wouldn't do it. The revolutionary, huh? And people ignored this for a long time, this fact that this homoeroticism of slave owners and their slaves. They've ignored all this. They ignored the slaves, their voice, huh? Because that's a horrible thing to think of, that these slave owners, not only they starved their slaves because the less you feed them, you know, the more money you make. They also was what was for dinner, you know what I mean? You don't hear none of this, huh?
All right, Zechariah 2. I'm gonna start at verse 7. Deliver thyself, O Zion, all right, which is the Israelites, that dwellest with the daughter of Babylon. All right, so over here in America. All right, for thus saith the Lord of hosts, after the glory he has sent me unto the nations which spoiled you. For he that toucheth you, toucheth the apple of his eye. All right. So, hey, these devils is going to have to pay back for that shit, man. Ain't nothing going unpunished, man. All right, they touched the apple of the Lord's eye, man. And it's a recompense for that, man. So, hey, you know, we just waiting on the Lord's return. So, I'm going to grab this and I'm going to end it. Let me grab this real quick. I'm going to end it with this. All right, 2 Thessalonians 1 and 6. Seeing it is a righteous thing with Yahweh to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you. All right, so, hey, the Lord is going to allow us to pay these devils back in full, in double, actually. All right, the Lord said we're going to reward her double. All right, so it's coming, man. But I just want to get a little history of the wicked and, you know, just, oh my, I don't even know how to have words to put it in. Just the evil things that these devils have done to us, man. And Lord willing, it was edifying for the elect's sake. So I'm ending right there. All right, so all praises unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem Kakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Till next time, Akim Shalom.